Hello! So we're about a week away from Christmas and I'm going to talk about mental health today because talking is key to raising awareness and for people that need help to get support and for people who want to give help to help those in need of support. Mental health issues are not taboo. What I'd really like to address is eating disorders because I think they're one of the most taboo, misunderstood subjects ever. I've had both, bulimia and anorexia. I've still got food issues. I've gone the other way now, where I was super skinny some years ago. I've gone and I've put on weight. The bulimia has crept back. I've got that under control at the moment. It's not happening. But if I'm stressed or something has upset me, then I will binge and I will purge. And it's funny because people say that the eating disorder's voice is very, very strong, or the disease is stronger than the person. And I have to say I do agree with it because I don't like the fact that people perceive those with mental health issues as weak. It's not about that because I'm a very strong person. I'm told frequently, oh my God, you're such a strong woman. You're so strong. You're inspirational. If, for example, I had a chest infection, as I did last year, would people say, oh, but you're weak because you've got a chest infection? No, I was still a strong person. So it's the same with mental health. There's no need to look down on people and sort of say, oh, for God's sake, pull yourself together. You know, I do believe some people do need to pull themselves together and play on the fact that they are negative, but that's not a mental health issue. That's just how they are and the way they perceive everything around them. That can be changed. Mental health issues can be changed. You can get well, you can be helped, you can have counselling, you can have medication. I would say I'd be more inclined for people to do it holistically, like things like alternative therapies, you know, acupuncture, Reiki. The gym is my saviour. It's a lifeline to me in terms of coping with everything. It just makes me so happy, you know, the release of endorphins. I know when people say about the eating disorders voice, I know when I had anorexia, I was constantly thinking about food. It was like a voice in my head. But I also can remember clearly the day, the exact minute, to be honest, where I was in my home when I knew I was anorexic. And I literally had a voice in my head, whether it was my own voice, whether it was my psychic voice, who knows. And it said, I've gone. And I knew I'd gone. I knew I'd gone to anorexia. Bulimia I had before on and off in my 20s. But I just want to throw out a lifeline because it can be difficult for those with eating disorders, especially at this time of year because it's Christmas. There's food and drink everywhere. Don't put yourself under pressure. Don't make yourself ill. Just do what you need to do to get through the season. Please get help if you haven't already sought help. For me, getting the help that I could have gone to in terms of a mental health sort of group or specialist, I knew on the phone it wasn't going to be for me. And I found other coping mechanisms to get well. But in all honesty, I don't feel that people with eating disorders ever fully recover. I believe it's managed and it's kept at bay. I do not, for 1 minute, this is only my opinion though and my experience, feel that it ever truly leaves the person, that it ever goes away. I am going to get the weight off that I've put back on because obviously with food issues, it's kind of like an addiction one way or the other, with me anyway. And I know what I need to do it my way, to do it healthily for my mental health, so I don't get to suffering again, either with anorexia or with bulimia. And I want other people to know that, you know, as fabulous as somebody's life seems, you never know what's really going on beneath the surface. But please, if you are suffering, don't suffer alone. There is help there. If you're too proud to tell your family, then tell your GP or tell a friend. And if you're too embarrassed to tell your GP, tell your friend, tell your family, tell your cat, tell your dog. Go out and write it in a letter and burn it, send it away with light, but get it out of you. It's about control, anorexia and bulimia. Let's put it to bed that this ridiculous notion that celebrities, if they're skinny or slim, are to blame. That people with eating disorders look at them and go, oh, I want to be like them. So they start, you know, doing bulimia, or they start being anorexic. It's about control. That's what it's about. And I also am extremely worried about food addictions in this country, because the rate of obesity we have is absolutely through the roof. One thing I'd like to address is the hypocrisy around it, that when I was very skinny, when I was anorexic, people would say, oh, you're bony, you're skeleton, you could hang your hat off your shoulder blades, blah, blah, blah. Heaven forbid if we said something like, oh, look at you, look at the rolls of fat or anything. That would be fat shaming. But it seems to be okay to skinny shame when there aren't that many really, really skinny anorexic people, but there are way, way, way more obese people than skinny. So we need to find a balance, because either end of the scale, obese, anorexic, with too much BMI, too little BMI, is not healthy. It's all about balance. And, you know, mental health, we need to address it. I'm not going to hide under it anymore. People do know that are around me that I've had it, but I want to share it with my followers, with anybody else who happens to come across this channel, that don't suffer alone. Other people have it too. There is help. You will get to a point where you can cope, where you can manage. But please, please don't let it go to the point where you're having to be force-fed with stomach tubes, where, you know, your eyes are suffering, your ears are suffering, organs are going, or, you know, the acid's ruining your teeth or your gag reflex. Please, before it's too late, get help. Above all, as I said, do what you can to get through this festive season. Be well and be healthy mentally and physically. Sent with love, Lee Catherine.